Get those Cybermen out.
Welcome back to the Cybermen, guys. Today we have another deck profile. This is Dylan Furey's 5-1 Regionals Cooler Mill deck profile. He got to 5-1 with 1 round to go and unfortunately had to drop out of the tournament for personal reasons, so he couldn't finish off. He probably would have got top 16 if he did, but unfortunately wasn't the case. But we thought we'd show it off anyway. Dylan is one of the Cybermen teammates, so he's been working on Cooler for a really long time, and it was awesome that in his first regional he was able to do so well. So take it away, Dylan.
Hey guys, Dylan here again with another deck profile. Finally, it's the one that I think everyone's been waiting for, because it's probably my favorite leader, if not equal with Bulma, is Mr. Cooler Revenge Transformed. I've been playing this deck non-stop since set 9. Changed it multiple times. It seems like every set we get like a little bit of support with just some extra new extras and negates and some battle cards at neg. And that's his kind of whole philosophy. Is this guy basically is just a red version of Janemba, I suppose, in that you build a massive wall of defense and you just mill your opponent for days. The leader doesn't do it quite like Janemba, where you just instantly mill. You have to be a little bit more creative and mill off battle cards. And that's definitely his auto that is probably the most confusing, is that when the power of one of your opponent's battle cards is decreased, your opponent places the top card of their deck in their drop area. Why this is confusing is I have a lot of people, when I've played it, they say, oh my god, it's not once per turn. No, it's not. 2, it's off anything. So if my leader somehow negs, you mill a card. If my battle cards neg you, you mill a card. If my unison negs you, you mill a card. If my extra cards neg you, you mill a card. If you neg your battle cards, you mill a card. So just as long as battle cards are being negged on your opponent's side, you are milling cards. I've loved this deck. This deck has probably allowed me to have some of the closest and coolest matches, coolest matches I've ever had in this game. And I love this deck to death, despite the fact that it's been called cancer several times. I can see why sometimes. But I took this to the Oceania Championships on Saturday and did surprisingly well with it. My friends will know I had a week of disaster where I was playing like absolute dog shit, was testing a new build for it, and it was performing very poorly. I originally just used to run this as a stall, and the only way I would win was just through coolers and Jirans. And then I put despite better judgment of myself, put the Gogeta package in from Vermilion, which got me a lot of wins. And it was once you had Jiren and Gogeta and Broly on board, it was an absolute wall to try and get through. I thought I was going to bring that into the Oceanic Championships, and testing it just was awful. It took up so many spots, way too many battle cards, not enough neg, not enough defense. So I completely gutted it. Was chatting to a friend all week about it, about how to rebuild it. And I finally, the morning of, just went stuff it, ripped it all out, threw a whole bunch of cards in. And it did very well. I played Soul Striker, had an amazingly close game with Soul Striker and won. I beat Black Broly's. I beat Blue Baby, Go Tanks. Crazy day. But anyway, let's get into the deck. So on the front side, when this card, 3 things about this deck that I think are really holding it back from being a top tier deck. 1, it's slow as hell. You're pretty much charging multicolors your whole way through, or even starting with it. 2, the leader only draws when it swings into another leader, which is awful. And hand destruction kills this deck super quick. Because you're playing sometimes 2 or 3 cards a turn and you're only getting 1 back, you are losing cards very quickly. But I had a new addition in, which I think helped quite well on the weekend, and learnt a lot about this deck over the weekend. So let's get into it. Leader, when he swings into a leader, draw 1 card. Why I love that is a lot of the new sets. I don't really want to kill people. I don't want to give them cards from their life. So if their leader allows them to just awaken early from a new awaken con, or they just take their own life, I can keep swinging leader into leader without doing any damage and drawing the card that I want, which is awesome. I've already read the ability that anytime battle card's negged, not once per turn, opponent's battle card's negged, mill a card. It's awesome. And once per turn, when it's the opponent's turn, if the power of one of the opponent's battle cards is decreased by the skill of one of my battle cards, I draw a card. He's a generic awaken at 4, draw 1 card and untap 1 energy. Funny enough, like I've been at 1 life when I've awakened and managed to awaken, untap, draw a card that I need, and have won the game. This leader has had, like I said, some of the coolest matches I've ever played. He's the exact same on this side, except now I draw when I neg on my turn on the opponent's turn. Cool leader. Pretty basic. I run 4 janky little check lands. I very rarely see them, and most of the time it's late game, and it's like I want anything else but this late game, but it's still pretty cool to draw. I can't say I've ever, so his little auto is when he attacks, I get to neg one of my opponents. I've never played him for that. You know, maybe once in a while, I probably would have, but not a lot. I love this card in this deck. It's either turn 1 and put straight into energy, or I draw cards when needed. I played Go Tanks on the weekend, and he had like 14-15 cards in hand, and I made him drop 5 twice, which was awesome. And then against Turles early game too, this cuts cards in half very quickly. We all know this little boy. This has made me win games like more times than probably anything else in this deck. I love that it's basically play a card, play him, draw a card to replace himself, and then activate battle red, choose up to one of your opponent's leader or battle cards and neg it for 10,000. So I can either mill with it. I can either use it for defense, where I play, like if I know that they're not going to kill him in late game and I don't have enough negates, I put him on board, pass my turn, and they swing leader into leader, I just neg it for 10. He's also been there if I've had 6 or 7 energy open and I've swung my leader into their last life and they've said no negates, and I've just gone tap, neg your leader 70,000, combo, knowing that they're not going to be able to carry my leader. I definitely don't like him turn 1 or 2 because everything kills him. He's a 1 drop, he's 4k, but late game he clutches games for you. Pretty easy. 4 Beerus super combo. This is, the main guts of this deck. You cannot run this deck without it. I've seen people play the freaking Zeno super combo to replace energy. Stupid. Some people I think have even played with the Whis just for extra negging. Stupid. This card untaps so defensively and also allows you to combo. So amazing. I run 4 of the Herculean Majin Buu, amazing card. Again, it adds red and blue, so energy from the start. It brings cards back to my hand on my turn or opponent's turn, so I can go ham with counterplays or arrivals, and at the end of turn just bring them straight back. The beautiful combo I had a few times on the weekend was I'd counterplay Yamcha, and then just for some reason arrival, draw 2. I was probably normally draw 1 because he draws 1 and he draws off leader if he negs, but Yamcha would have already done it. And then bounce Yamcha back. And it was an awesome combo that allowed me to neg a lot of the board and get a lot done, which I was pretty happy with. I don't like that he's 1 blue because the majority of my deck is red and I don't run many normal blues apart from checklands. So you got to be very careful about what energy you're tapping and untapping. But an amazing card nonetheless. Really glad that I ran 4 of them because there's just times where I drew 2 or 3 and I was happy to combo one off and just rival the others. But he gets you back coolers, he gets you back 3-drop coolers, he gets you back your Yamcha counterplays. He's amazing. I love him. Okay, probably one of my favorite cards in the entire game. This dude is a beast. He's probably one of... I'd definitely say one of the best arrivals in the game. He negs 2 battle cards ignoring barrier for 10,000. And then even just being played, he mills a card. So the majority of the time, especially against like Turles or Black Broly, you can get a lot of value out of this card. You rival 2 or 3, or you could even play the 3 cost just to bring back and keep going, and you just neg up the board. So normally if he's played and he's got 2 battle cards on board, hits them for 2, mills them for 2 off leader, mill a third because of him. And like, it's 3, but it adds up very quickly. Like I've had games against Black Broly where I've literally negged 19 cards in one turn, milled 19 cards in one turn. Like it can get very silly. But he's awesome, and then he's also 20k. You don't use him as aggro as you think, because there's things now like, you know, dormant potentials and violent rays. You can just get hits. So you don't really want a lot of them on board. The only time I'll combo a significant amount of board is if I know I'm going for game or I'm really trying to wipe a board and I can get him back with this guy. But amazing SPR. SR. Okay, this guy has also clutched me many games. So basically he's an activate main, blue, choose one of my freezer clan in the battle area other than this card and bring it back to hand. So why I love that is I can just activate ability and get him back to hand. Even though this might be counterplayed, might be KO'd, might be sent back to hand trunks, might be bottom decked, might be warped, I still get my key piece back. 2, he recycles super combos. Not necessarily super combos, but multicolor. So if I swing, his auto is whenever he attacks or is attacked, I get the combo from a drop area with a multicolor, red or blue. So it means I can save a lot more of my super combos and go hard in with him when I need to, which is really useful. There's been times where I've used him for energy and it's worked. There's been times I've used him just to cycle and just keep negging like crazy off booze. And then there's been times where he's just been a 25k single into leader and it's been really hard to beat. Love this card. I played 1 Mai. Now that I think about it, it did slow down a few of the decks. Like I played Soul Striker and I played Baby, and it did slow him down a little bit. She did get sent back to my hand a lot by that 4-drop. I think it's a Vermilion or Vicious Rejuvenation Go Tanks. But I just play her again for another draw card and then combo her off if I needed to. But she did enough when I was quite happy. Run 4 of the Yamcha. A very good card. The fact that he hits most things these days. Like everyone's playing stuff by skills. To hit 2 things for 15 for the turn is amazing. The combination between these Yamchas and this against Blue Baby was insane. I didn't even think of it until I was playing Blue Baby, but I originally put this guy in because I just needed extra draw with this leader, and then I wanted early access to Yamchas and Wolfang Fists. But what I didn't realize until I started playing Blue Baby was when your opponent, and this is the first time I've actually used this unison really in any deck either. So when your opponent activates a counter skill, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with 15,000 power or less and KO it. I didn't really like that because I want stuff on the board. But the more I started playing throughout the tournament, the more I realized I'm happy just to kill a bunch of stuff, especially if I know they're not going to get it back. So I was playing a really good Blue Baby player who knew instantly not to play battle cards. So every time I was swinging, he was negating with all the extra card, because he didn't want to play anything. But then he had to start playing like his big babies and like the 19Ks, the 20Ks, the 30Ks, and all that stuff. And I got to counterplay every one of them, negging them, and then also being able to fulfill the auto. So I was just popping big boys left and right because I was just negging things as I went the whole time. And the guy got to the end and he's like, I have nothing left to play. Like I scoop. And it was just having one of these guys on board at like 7 or 8 markers, just popping things non-stop because, Baby just has to negate. So that was really cool. I never used his -2. I had no intention. I loved his +1. I will say against the Blue Baby deck, I think we got to 9 or 10 energy. And even I was worried about decking out because I was drawing so much. So he played the 3-drop Gohan that makes you bottom decker card as you swing. So I think I swung like 4 or 5 times and just put a whole bunch of stuff I didn't need back in because I was actually worried about decking out myself. But awesome unison. This is probably, in my opinion, this is probably my favorite and best unison for this deck. Once this guy gets up to about 7 or 8 markers, he is a bomb. The 20k double strike just continuously keeps putting pressure onto leader or takes out someone else's unison that you don't want to deal with. His minus 10,000 to a battle card being played is amazing because I get to choose, so it's not the first one like Poutine, counterplay, and all kind of stuff like that. And his -3 activate battle has won me games because I'm like, how do I do one more neg of a battle card to win? -3 ignoring barrier, thank you very much. amazing. Yamcha goes particularly well with him. I only ran 3 because it meant that I had 5 unisons, and I was always getting like at least halfway through my deck with Cooler. And I always had him when I needed. There was one time I accidentally charged him twice and then was digging for ages to try and find the third, but that was just me being an idiot. I did run 4 Wolf Fang Fists. One of my teammates, Shay, he lent me the other 2, which I was very happy with, and it was an amazing card of the day. One of the funniest and best interactions I had with this card was I had my 2-drop King Piccolo unison on board. My opponent was swinging with the 4-drop blue Go tanks that when activate a counter in battle against the battle of that Go tanks, he untaps 2 energy and bounces card back to my hand. So the funny interaction I had 3 times in the match was I'd Wolf Fang Fist, he'd hit it, I'd hit it for down to 5, he'd bounce my coolers back to my hand, I would arrival, play cooler, kill his Go tanks, end of combat, and I did that 2 more times. I thought it was really funny. He got more energy, sure, but I got more stuff to kill, which I found great. I only ran 2 bean, 1 me sometimes for the energy, but there was a few times where I just, because I arrival so much with the one blue and the red, it just allowed me to kind of super combo, untap the check, so essentially the blue, make the red come available, play the red for cooler, and then play the blue for boo. It always helps, and it was always nice just to pump my leader up quite a bit because, you know, I don't want to die, essentially. After image is always good. The 10 is nice, especially for turn, but what I really like is it allows me to get out of combat, but allow me to still do my activate battle. So I'll get to activate, hit, mill most of the time, and a lot of people forget that this is not negating and that you need to give the player who's activating this their activate battle. The defense step, essentially. So I had to keep reminding a few players, no, sorry, I want a combo, because people, you know, would think, oh, well, he's at 55 grand, he's not going to, you know, do anything. But then I would arrival and wipe the board, especially if I've hit something for 10. And it was good just to have a sparking every now and then. But I think most of the tournament I used him for raw energy. I only ran 2 Is That All You Got? I don't like discarding, and a lot of this deck is losing cards. This was really more once Jiren and Yamcha had a good go with a big board. It allowed me to get rid of some big Brolys or Heartfelt or those Blue Apes or anything big. And it's nice just when they swing a leader, you get to pop this down and wipe their board and make them start again. Cool card. I ran 4 Violent Rays. Again, my teammate Shay lent me the 4th. You need 4. I think so. I've been playing this defensive deck for a while. I ran 3 for a while. I think you need 4. With Margin Big G the way it is, and with Aggro Shin the way it is, and the way Black Broly is, I think you just need 4. You just need to see these bad boys. And in saying that, there was a few times I just used it as a negate. I was just negate, no discard, they pass a turn. There was times where I negated hit battle cards, and then I hit Unison just for shits and giggles. But yeah, you need 4. And then I only ran 2 freezes. I never used it once. 5 energy is a lot for this deck. So there was almost no point in doing it. But I did use him for just comboing sometimes. Just for one, just so I could arrival. He got hit by Meki Kabura twice. Which I found really funny, because then they only had 1 or 2 battle cards on board, and I was like, I can kind of do more with coolers than I can with that, especially considering a cooler would, you know, get more value for only 1 energy compared to 5. But, you know, I think Android 18 with this card has scared a lot of people, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets errated to only hitting non-token battle cards. But we'll see what happens. The SCR I ran was the Kai. There was only one time I was going to use it, and I think I stuffed up timing. It was against a blue player who was just building markers on the blue baby unison quicker than what I could handle. And I thought, well, I'll chuck it down and remove it so he doesn't remove 5 and then allow all his counters to hit all my counters. I had the Soul Striker game that I originally started with was amazing. It was one of the best games I've ever played. He went into his final turn. I think he had about 5 or 6 cards left in deck. He minus 5. Sorry, he did minus 5 on later. He played Fu. I managed to have a few things in pending auto, which was helped me a little bit. I had 1 energy open. I survived a Boony, 3 tokens, a Go Tank swing, the Fu swing, his Unison swing, and his Leader swing. Despite the fact that Fu shuts my entire deck off. I had 1 life left. I think he had 2 or 3. I went to just basically, I had a handful in the gates too with a bunch of Unisons on board. So I was like, oh, I'm fine. And then he plays Fu and I'm like, well, I'm probably going to die here. And managed to survive, got to my turn. I had like 8 energy open. I went to swing with Leader. He baby hatched. And I thought, crap, here we go. Came back to my turn. He minus 5. I was just like, just swing with anything first because he only had 2 cards left in deck and I had every negate possible. And he minus 5 went double strike with Leader, comboed up to a million or like comboed up heaps. And I basically just had to keep playing cooler, avoiding all the counter plays until eventually he ran out and I managed to get it on board and hit him for 3 cards. It was incredible. It was such a good weekend. But in saying that, the SCR I would go for going ahead is 100% Go Hanks. If you're going to run the Gogeta package in this, I mean, do it for some fun, and I probably would run the Broly SCR. But look, this deck's a lot of fun. It allows you just to kind of sit back and just destroy everything on board, and then either mill them or go for a strike eventually. They don't have as much negates. I do like, you can kind of see why some cards are the way they are. Otherwise, this leader would be completely broken. Like Paralysis Technique for one. If it allowed this leader, that would be ludicrous. The new counter, the King Vegeta one that negs a battle card every time they swing, would be broken in this deck. And then even the counter would be broken in this deck too. So I can kind of see why they lock things a little bit, because this leader can get insane just the way things are at the moment, let alone having access to some of those negates. But look, this is one of my favorite leaders. You guys have seen me play it a lot on the Cyberman tournaments, and you've probably seen it pop up a lot that I've played at the locals. Give it a go. It's really fun. Don't just play it once or twice and think, oh, it's either trash or whatever. Like give it some time. It becomes a really fun deck in the end. But anyway, leave your comments, let me know what you think about it. If you've played it, let me know what your build is. Like, I'm always interested to see. Like, I've been playing this since the day it came out, since pre-release. So I'm always interested to see. Like, I saw some guy the other night play a Bomber Blocker that when it dies, neg something for 5. I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't really have room in my deck for it, but it was, I might play at one point. So let us know. But anyway, thanks guys. I appreciate your time. Have a good night.
Thanks for watching, guys. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me out. But if you want to help me out further, look at the link in the description below. Click on palmsoffgaming.com.au. Check out their binders. Check out their sleeves. Check out all their grading gear. And if you buy something from them, put the code Cybermen into the coupon code field and you'll get 10% off, and it'll help me out as well. So thanks again for watching, guys. Love ya.